I decided to power through. So, hi, how are we? There's a storm happening outside in the main city of Lebanon. And the reason I look this scary is because I'm using my light, my phone. So, well, I don't know if this side is better or this side. Anyways, I wanted to do more videos, man. I figured right now you would literally kind of have to go sit in the dark. Oh, and it's only 7 o'clock, so I can't even sleep yet. But anyways, video reference in terms of fuck, you can't read. Okay. Reference in terms of topics excerpted from movies, authors, shit like this. Uh, Reference in terms of topics. So here there are two videos behind each other that seem to have been written the same day or the same kind of moment. So the vibe of the day seems to be just on what basis do I build my imagination or do we kind of like engage with the world? And so the simplest form of my thought process would be like 4 videos ago, I think, or 3 videos ago, where I discussed us being children and kind of like entering the world going like, where is this place? And then slowly seeing things and like normalizing stuff and kind of agreeing to things and like evolving through it, right? Like our mind kind of establishes some things as okay and normal and whatever. We see reality, which is good for survival, but kind of like fucked up overall because sometimes even if you want to change, things don't like, I don't know, just shit. But so every step of the way, we kind of like create different frames of reference, and the world, whatever we are seeing on a daily basis, is kind of like you could only imagine how people from suburbs, when they come to the city for the first time, how they would feel, right? You could only imagine back in the day, like I was reading at one point, I think in the 1600s or 1500s, there was like a pathway between England and Scotland or something where people used to like always disappear, and then when they went there they realized there was still a tribe that's hidden somewhere, a cannibalistic tribe somewhere in England, that basically anytime merchants are passing by they'd hunt them and fucking eat them, and for them it was like yay, but they haven't seen shit from the city, right? They kind of like are stuck in their own world, which probably takes us back as well to like Plato's allegory, because in Plato's allegory, right? It's the one where you're in a cave, and if the people are like throughout their entire life are basically uh, tied, they're imprisoned in a cave, they only can see the shapes and the shades from the light, the shadows from the outside world reflected into the actual cave. Are is it they can't be seeing the same reality that everyone else is, because ultimately what they're seeing is shadows, so their points of reference are kind of like those shadows. And so when they go out, is it really what they experience or not? The reason I'm kind of like, it's not going off topic, but I'm using these stories, or at the very least, these kind of like points of reference, in order for us to kind of like engage with how our reality is built, how we actually decide what's doable, not doable, achievable, not achievable. And if I'm not mistaken, and because the video after this one is called "Playing with Scenarios in My Head Before Sleep," so I imagine I was sitting somewhere and I was like thinking of stuff, and I was imagining what could happen and what are the possibilities. Because you really, like Einstein said that, like no, it doesn't matter how smart you are without the power of imagination, nothing new can come out of it, right? Because like your entire, if you're the best engineer of the world in the world, if you can't like, if you're not actually creative, then you're not really actually introducing something new. You're just very good at what already exists. And since I'm working like all my thought process or my mental capacity most of the time is kind of like towards what I'm doing, how it can work, and how to engage with stuff. And truthfully, man, I want to build a decentralized network, but with the actual entities of our world, of our society, actually, because I really think like we never approach society from society's sake. And that's one of the actual notes that I wrote 2 days ago or yesterday. We never approach society for society's sake. We try to implement something in society based on what we already have instead of like kind of destructuring and taking a step back while we're there. Uh, but so references in terms of topics, movies, and authors. Back in the day, man, when people like my grandmother never traveled beyond the village, and anytime she went, God rest her soul, when she'd go to Beirut, for her that was such a fucking adventure. And she always, electricity came back, and she always, I would never understand her. She was born in the early 1300s, 1930s, sorry. So it's a long time ago, dude. Back then, the world looked different and the village looked different. But yet, she like on occasion, every like 4 or 5 years, would go to to the city Beirut, and that's Beirut is like 30 minutes away, 45 minutes away. Some people like don't really get to look at the world to build different references. But for us, the people that watch movies, like everything from Star Wars to I don't know. I want to say like the movie Idiocracy. It's me and my friend's favorite movie because like it discusses how the world would be run by idiots because a consumer-based society would always lead to like people being a bit kind of like I don't know. Yeah, we lose it slowly. No judgments. And ultimately, like the world kind of like goes. But anyways, points of reference. Let's not discuss the movie because it's called Idiocracy. uh, Movies, books, authors. In fact, what we're doing anytime we're entertained with things in this world, and it's as pretty as watching the sunset down or just watching a random dude water skiing on the ocean, or just some random people like creating a new dance. Every single one of them is basically a new input to our own mind and in a way a new point of reference. And movies that are completely abstract or beyond what we can see in the real world, those I think are very much the driving force of ingenuity because somebody used their imagination. And through that process of their own imagination, other people started applying certain things they took from there to their daily lives. And eventually, slowly, we start building in reality the things that we have gathered through our frame of reference. And I think I was like considering this because they can know I watch a lot of anime and I love that shit. And one of the animes is called Psychopaths. And Psychopaths is a controlled society basically where they measure somebody's mental health. And there are certain levels that are too dangerous to be left alone because then you could be a danger to everyone. And I think I was just considering the whole metric system of how people could actually be. When we engage with society, we literally are, whether we like to admit it or not, valued, or at the very least, judged. The sad part is we're judged right now by money, by appearance, by presence. We're not judged by value. And I really think value is missing. I really think the concept of how human beings are actually can contribute to value is missing. The merit behind our existence, the strength behind our own, like, I want to say contribution, presence, expression. We are not really like noticed for that kind of stuff. Being the society that we are right now, it's always the louder voice that gets heard. But the people that actually like move mountains are the people that are the calmest and quietest. But these people struggle the most before they actually reach somewhere. They are the ones that engage with the world, the harsher side of the world. They are the ones who actually either create new points of reference for society, for us in society, or they're the ones that actually utilize references and evolve through society much more creatively than what the normal side of society does. I think the reason I pointed at reference in terms of topic is because I think we have a lot that we can imagine. And anytime we're stuck, we have all the references in the world that we could actually, that's what research is for, right? Because you search for the word and then Google finds you everything you want and then you choose how to get inspired. And talking about this got me more excited about like what I'm doing. And this month the website will be done. And again, what I'm doing is completely different than the website I'm coding. Because ultimately I have to get the consumers on it first. I have to get clients first. And then from there I have to build in secret. But it's a video. References in terms of topics, movies, and authors. I think it's impressive. It could be more impressive for individuals to start understanding which references they relate to and which ones they use in their life. I think with that, we'll be able to kind of like engage differently with the world and actively like progress. I'm gonna make a note of that. It's a video. Woohoo!